And hello again, everybody. David Clary along with Ben George, Vashawn Knowles here at Bobby Hopkins Field getting set for Oak Ridge High School baseball. The Wildcats taking on the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. The Wildcats come in with a 2-0 record with back-to-back wins over Anderson County. First game was 5-1 to open up the season. Then a couple nights ago, the Wildcats went to Anderson County and won the ball game 14-2. So the Wildcats enter this game against a state tournament team from a year ago, the Yellow Jackets. I was telling people, Ben, that you can't be fooled. This Coalfield team can play some baseball. They've got some good players. Should be an exciting night of baseball here at Bobby Hopkins.
Yeah, David, this team was the team that made their state tournament within their classification last year, and it should be a really good game. Power offenses on both sides of the both teams, and this is a really good game on tap for here at Bobby Hopkins Park.
Why don't you run down the starting lineups in the ball game tonight?
Thank you, David. First off, for Coalfield will be number 3, Cole Hines. Second for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets will be Luke Treese. Third, number 8, Braden Burgess. Number 7, fourth up, is Levi Brazil, one of those. Fifth up is number 27, Zach Armstrong. Sixth up to bat for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets is number 10, Jackson Treese. Number 7 up, number 5, Levi Heidel. Eighth up is number 23, Ramel Conlon, excuse me for that. And last up to bat for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets, is number 22, Riley Brown. And then the starting lineup for your Oak Ridge Wildcats. First up to bat, leading off for the Wildcats, is number 11, Caden Black, the shortstop. Number 7, Jacob Franklin goes up at second. Number 9, Eddie Tan is the designated hitter. And number 3 hitter for the Wildcats. Number 2, Tyler Pickens is the 4th hitter for the Wildcats. Number 12, Richie Ferreira is the 5th hitter for the Wildcats. Mikey Teasley is the pitcher and the 6th hitter for the Wildcats. Camden Welch and Truett Tex will go on tap at the 7th hitter. And Kyron Welch will hit 8th as the catcher as well. And then at the cleanup hitter is the 9th hitter, number 5, Jason Slay, who also plays at second base. David?
Thanks a lot, Ben. We're just moments away. The umpires have met at the home plate area with the respective coaches. The head coach of the Wildcats is Travis Free. And the Wildcats trying to go remain undefeated here. And we're about to have, I think, the national anthem and the start of this ball game. We're live on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We appreciate you watching. Right now we have 5 people, and we were over 500 on our game the other day. And now we're about to go to the PA announcer here.
For the Yellow Jackets, coached by Andy Lowe. Batting first, wearing number 3, Cole Hines. Batting second, wearing number 44, Luke Treese. Wearing number 8, batting third, Braden Burgess. Batting fourth, wearing number 7, Levi Brazil. Batting number 5, wearing number 27, Zach Armstrong. Batting sixth, wearing number 10, Jackson Treese. Batting seventh, wearing number 5, Levi Heidel. Batting eighth, wearing number 23, Ramel Conlon. And batting ninth, wearing number 22, Riley Brown. Now, for the Oak Ridge Wildcats. Black. Batting second in right field, wearing number 7, Jake. In left field, wearing number 9, batting third, Eddie Tan. In third base, batting in the fourth spot, wearing number 2, Tyler Pickens. Batting fifth from center field, wearing number 12, Richie Ferreira. On the mound tonight for the Wildcats, wearing number 3, Mikey Teasley. The designated hitter, wearing number 20, Truett Tex. Batting eighth at catcher, wearing number 4, Kyron Welch. At second base, wearing number 5, Jason Slay. And at first base, wearing number 23, Cam Welch. The Wildcats are coached by head coach Travis Free. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of the national anthem. Joining us here to sing the national anthem, Oak Ridge High School class of 2022, Kyra Ulrich.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets in air, bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the brave and the home of the brave?
Great job on our national anthem here from Bobby Hopkins Field as we're just moments away. This is an Oak Ridge Bombers night. Ben George, as we get set for this game, the Oak Ridge Bombers were a Negro League team that played here back in the 50s, I do believe, many, many years ago. And Oak Ridge, since Coach Free has become the head coach here, he's honored them. And a lot of those Bombers have been in attendance in some of these ball games. And it's always great to see when the Wildcats are decked out in these uniforms.
Correct, David, and just a great opportunity to celebrate that team and also celebrate the Scarborough 85, who is an implemental part in integrating the Oak Ridge schools here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and just a great opportunity to be able to play baseball and represent that team as well and pay homage to them as well.
One thing that we can say, and I know we complained about this a lot the other day, it is much warmer today, Ben. I mean, it's a much, much better day to watch a baseball game, and obviously we are out of the wind, which is even better.
Correct, David, and I had mentioned to you before the game started, or before we even started, that it's a great day for baseball, and hopefully it'll keep this way. As past couple nights we've either been here at Bobby Hopkins or over at Anderson County, it's been pretty frigid and pretty horrendous weather in my opinion, but hopefully tonight will stay up with the weather.
And here we go. The music is busting out loudly. Hopefully we will not be thrown off of our YouTube stream because of this copyright, as we're about to have the first pitch of the ball game. Mikey Teasley is a freshman pitcher getting his first start as a Wildcat at the pitcher position. He has played some third base. We saw him play and have 6 RBIs the other day, Ben, in the Anderson County win. But this is his first start on the hill for the Wildcats. He's a freshman, as I mentioned. He's got a lot of talent. He's going to be with us for the next 4 years, so we better get used to a great performance because he's a really good-looking player.
Yes, and I was able to see him during his practice, during warm-ups, that he's been able to get that fastball in the zone and do really great. So this will be a great opportunity for him to get a great start to begin this season.
He's a right-hander. Vashawn Knowles doing our camera work, and we're about to get the first pitch of the ball game, the second home game of the Wildcats here on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. The sign from Welch and the pitch to the plate. Cut on miss. Fastball at the belt, and Mikey ahead in the count, no balls and 1 strike. Wildcats will not be playing Friday or this entire weekend. They will go to Campbell County on Monday and play the Campbell County Cougars back here on Tuesday. Second pitch on the inside corner at the knees, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes. I saw Mikey pitch a couple Saturdays ago against Hardin Valley in a scrimmage ball game and was outstanding. Only gave up 1 run to a very fine Hardin Valley team. 0-2 pitch, hit on the ground, up the middle, in the center field. That's a base hit. Nothing fancy, just hit it where it was pitched. And they've got a leadoff man on here in the first inning, and the batter now will be the number 2 hitter. You've got their lineup here, so you can help me with that.
Now up to bat for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets will be Luke Treese.
If you want to handle the book duties there, Ben, I'd appreciate that. He's a right-handed hitter. I'll set the infield for you. You've got Welch at first base for the Wildcats. Jason Slay is out at second. Caden Black is at short. At third base for the Wildcats is Tyler Pickens. The outfield consists of, well, as the first pitch is hit foul. Right side, giving it a look at the first baseman Welch. He's got it for out number 1. So a good start here for the Wildcats. 1 pitch, 1 out, and the batter for them will be the number 3 hitter in their lineup. Brandon Burgess. Thank you much, Tyler Carr. Right-handed hitter. He's a big boy. Stands in. Another right-handed hitter facing the freshman. They pretty good size lead at first for the Yellow Jackets. Just underway. Top of the first inning here at Bobby Hopkins Field. Teasley to the plate, just a little bit high, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes.
This looked like there that he went, but of course the umpire did not give that call, and it's going to be ball 1.
Mikey checks the runner at first. The 1-0 pitch, runner not going on the inside corner at the knees for a called strike, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. So I mentioned the Wildcats are 2-0 on the season with victories over Anderson County, both of them, here at Bobby Hopkins and at Anderson County. Mikey checks the runner once again. Freshman from the stretch, and the 1-1 pitch. Runner going. Bounced away, and it's a ball and a stolen base for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets, so they have a runner in scoring position with 1 out.
Unfortunately, right there, the ball just got away from Kyron and was unable to make that throw to second.
Kyron Welch is the catcher for the Wildcats. He is a junior. His brother is playing first base. He's a freshman. Got a senior at second, a junior at short, and a senior at third. And a freshman on the hill. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Outside corner for a called strike, and that evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We have 1 out. We're in the top of the first inning. Welcome to our broadcast here on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We'll do Monday's ball game up at Campbell County as well. Hope you'll tune in for that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mikey checks the runner at second base. Batter's in there a while, and he calls timeout. I was wondering if he was going to call timeout and step out because Mikey was taking a long time to get the pitch in. Nice turnout of crowd. Fans still filing in. Spring break, the students are not here, but there are a few here. 2-2 pitch. Breaking pitch high. Here's a throw down. Not in time. Good idea there. Pitch sailed up high on Mikey. And the count now is 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, just a great thought right there, and just wasn't in time. Just a tad second late.
Mikey checks the runner once again at second. Short lead. His toes are on the infield grass. 3-2 pitch. Cut on a miss, and that's a swinging strikeout, and that is out number 2. And that is the first strikeout of the day and the career in a varsity ball game for Mikey Teasley. And the batter now will be Levi Brazil. He'll be a left-handed hitter standing in with 2 outs. They've got a runner in scoring position. Leadoff single. And he's been there for the last two, a pop out to the first baseman and a strikeout. Number 4 hitter, here's the pitch. Evidently a little bit low, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Braden Burgess was the man. Thank you, Brad. I think that's what I said. I think that's what I wrote down. It's not what I said. I was listening to Tyler. He said it right. I just heard it wrong. 2 outs here. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. Mikey checks the runner at second, and the pitch. Hit foul over to the third base side and out of play, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. So I mentioned next week the Wildcats have a busy week. Coach Free told me on the television show last night, not only will they be taking on Campbell County, they've got Maryville and they've got South Doyle. So a tough week of baseball for Oak Ridge next week. 1 ball, 1 strike. Teasley's pitch right back to the mound. Fielded nicely by Mikey. He throws it on the first in time for out number 3.
Yeah, right there, David. Just a great throw over picked up by Mikey, and then a great throw over to first.
So leadoff single for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets, but they strand him at second. We go to the bottom half of the first inning here at Bobby Hopkins Field on this Bombers night here in Oak Ridge. The Wildcats coming to the plate. We'll be back with the bottom half of the first in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. David Clary, Ben George, along with Vashawn Knowles. Levi Brazil, the pitcher for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. The top 3 hitters for the Wildcats. Leading things off will be Caden Black, followed by Jacob Franklin, then Eddie Tan. Officially, we're going to say that was not an inside the park home run the other day. It was a triple and an error, but it looked good. Actually, him coming all the way around the score. First pitch is up high to the junior. The count is 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, David, regardless of how you call it, it was a really good run by Caden and just using his speed for the best of him and getting in to score some runs and eventually get that win and that run rule gone for us. So
2-0 pitch. Here it comes. Called strike on the outside corner at the knees, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Lefty versus lefty here. I'll let Ben set the defense for the Yellow Jackets in a moment. 2-1 pitch, down low a ball, 3 balls and 1 strike. I've told you this before, Ben. If Caden Black gets on first, he's at second with him 2 pitches. I mean, that's just what he does.
Correct, and we mentioned last game that's how aggressive Coach Travis Spree is that's a walk, and it might as well just happen because that is aggressive. As aggressive as Coach Spree tells his team to be offensively is trying to steal bases and play fast and aggressive.
Here's Jacob Franklin. He's a senior member of the Oak Ridge Wildcats. Coach Free told me last night, and actually told him on the TV show, expect him to get 2 doubles today. That's a pretty brazen prediction. We'll see how it goes. Caden Black takes his lead off of first, and the pitch to the plate is in there for a called strike on the inside corner at the knees, and the count is no balls and one strike. Bashan doing camera work for us. He's not a baseball guy, but we're going to teach him a little bit today and the rest of the year and next year and the years following that. Quick throw over to first and back safely to the bag will go Caden Black. Bashan told me something before the game, Ben, that I didn't believe, and I'll talk about it here in a second after this pitch. Caden a good lead off of first, and he's going to get the throw over once again back safely. Bashan told me before the game that Caden Black had decided to play football next year. And I didn't believe him. I believed that Bashan believed it, but I asked Caden, and he said yes, he's going to play football. He's going. The pitch is hit on the ground, foul, up the third base line. He told me he was, and so it wasn't like I didn't believe Bashan. I believed he believed it, like I said, but I just couldn't imagine Caden wanting to play football. And I'll ask Tyler, did he play football for you at Robertsville? He did not, Tyler says. So this will be his first experience. He's very fast, and, they can use him. Let's see if he's Yep, your family tradition for sure. His dad and his two uncles played football at Oak Ridge High School. Adam Black, Chris Black, Ron Black. Here's the pitch to the plate, high and outside to Jacob Franklin. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nobody out. Runner aboard, leadoff walk for Caden Black. Ben, I can't wait to see him play, actually.
Yeah, you mentioned it, you alluded to it with his speed, is that now he's trying to run and he's going to get in safely at second.
Even with the pickoff play, he's so fast, he was still able to get down to second because the pitcher threw on the first, and he was already almost halfway between first and second when the ball was thrown. So that's a stolen base, and he's in scoring position.
Yeah, greatly executed there by Caden, and just like we've been talking about all day long, is that his speed just helps him and helps his team really, really quickly. As you alluded in the Anderson County game, he is the leading stolen base leader in Oak Ridge baseball history.
That ball's hit into the gap. The right fielder can't get it. Here's double number 1 for Jacob Franklin. Here comes Caden Black around third, heading to home, and he scores, and it's 1-0 Wildcats. So there's the first double, Ben George. So the prediction halfway there, and the Wildcats take a 1-0 lead.
Great opportunity right there. Great hit by Jacob Franklin, and a way to drive in a run right there with Caden.
Senior Eddie Tan steps in for the Wildcats. He's playing left field today. The transfer from Hardin Valley. Good lead for Jacob, and he's heading towards third. Here comes the throw, and it's another stolen base. Wildcats taking liberties on the lefty. The Wildcats have a runner at third and nobody out. 1 run in here in the first inning, and a 1-0 game with the Wildcats on top. Very aggressive that time for Jacob. Here's the pitch. Ooh, look good from here, but it's a ball. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Jacob is a senior. He takes his lead. Eddie's a senior as well. He swings and he misses. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. On deck for the Wildcats is Tyler Pickens, another transfer from Hardin Valley. We got the 2 Hardin Valley guys back-to-back in the lineup here tonight.
Yeah, just as well as it worked out for him, as that's in for strike. That's going to be a K for Eddie Tan, but greatly as it worked out is that we've got 2 Hardin Valley guys from a really, really good Hardin Valley Hawks baseball program, and now up is Tyler Pickens, just bringing it this past couple games pitching-wise and hitting-wise.
Ben George is helping me out here. He is a senior at Oak Ridge High School. Vashon doing camera work. He is a junior. Here's Tyler, right-handed hitter. The pitch is high and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. On deck for the Wildcats is Richie Ferreira. We've got another guy that didn't originate in Oak Ridge. He's a California transplant. He's on deck for the Wildcats. 1-0 pitch hit on the ground. That's going to score a run. Fielded by the second baseman, and in time to retire Tyler Pickens, but give Tyler an RBI, and the Wildcats have a 2-0 lead on the Coalfield Yellow Jackets on a soft little ground ball to the second baseman, and the Wildcats are up 2-0. Ferreira steps in now for the Wildcats. He is a left-handed hitter. Nobody aboard now, 2 outs, but the Wildcats very productive. They get a leadoff walk, stolen base, a double by Jacob Franklin. He stole third and then came home on the ground out. The ball's hit on the ground softly, this time to the third baseman. Nice play, fields it, throws on to first in time to retire Richie Ferreira. But a very productive first inning for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge takes a 2-0 lead over the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. We'll go to the top of the second here at Bobby Hopkins. We'll be back on this Bombers night in Oak Ridge in a moment. David Clary back here along with Ben George, Vashon Knowles here at Bobby Hopkins Field. We go to the second inning, and the Wildcats have a 2-0 lead over the Yellow Jackets. Leading off for them will be number 27, Zach Armstrong. Armstrong will be followed by Treese and then Heidel in the Coalfield lineup. Another lefty steps in, tall, lanky left-hander, facing the freshman pitcher Mikey Teasley. Picked up a strikeout in the first inning, and the first pitch is hit foul at the plate, and the count is no balls and one strike. 2-0 Wildcats. So I mentioned no game tomorrow. I think the girls softball team opens up their season tomorrow. And good luck to Lisa Shipley and her team. And then coming up next week, Monday and Tuesday, the Wildcats play Campbell County. I think the Monday game is at Campbell County, then Tuesday back here at Bobby Hopkins Field. Armstrong back in, has a one-strike count on him. Gets tired of waiting. Mikey working a little slowly. The Anderson County pitcher, he worked at warp speed the other night. I mean, he just got the ball and threw it.
Yeah, the Anderson County pitcher, I forgot his name, but he was really dealing that first game, and thankfully with our offensive scheme didn't really do much for us, but he really played a really perfect game for the Anderson County Mavs.
No balls, two strikes the count. Armstrong back in. Freshman comes to the plate. Here it is. Hit foul off to the left side off the screen. I mentioned this. The Wildcats are going to get a new screen. They've ordered it, and it will be coming in the next week or so. It's going to extend, not only just in front of the press box area, but it'll also be down the sides. It's a brand new screen. I'm looking forward to that. So many improvements have been made here at Bobby Hopkins Field. And here's the 0-2 pitch. Hit on the ground, past the pitcher, fielded by Jason Slay. Has to throw quickly. He does in time for out number 1.
Although the ball went through Mikey Teasley's glove, a great pickup by Jason Slay right there. So now Jackson Treese up to bat. Just to give you a couple notes, courtesy of Brad Jones, Zach Armstrong is currently a Johnson University baseball commit, as well as Cole Hines is a Roane State baseball commit.
Pitches hit foul off to the right side and out of play. Treese is the batter. He'll be followed by Heidel. Treese Number 10. It's kind of hard to read this lineup that was given to me. He is playing second base today for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. 2-0 our score. One out here in the second. Wildcats trying to go 3-0 on the year. One strike the pitch. Bounces away and evens the count at 1-1 strike. Did I just hear you say that Arizona lost their game?
So it's been
Princeton?
it's been a monumental day in March Madness, David. My bracket's already been busted for the games that have happened tonight. We saw Maryland defeat West Virginia today. Here goes the pitch by Mikey Teasley. That's swung and missed for a strike. Maryland defeating West Virginia today, and a monumental game with Furman defeating fourth-seeded Virginia in the the East region. And then just now I noticed that Arizona was defeated by the Princeton Tigers today.
Wow. Hopefully that's the only number 4 seed that loses today. One in orange playing about at 9:45 tonight. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside and low, evens the count at 2-2 strikes. The Wildcats put 2 on the board in the first inning. They had a couple stolen bases in that inning, a double, a walk, and a ground out, and that's how they scored. Two balls, 2 strikes, the count. Vashon zooms in a little bit with the video. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Inside, 2 inside, and the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. More and more fans beginning to file into Bobby Hopkins. We talked about the improvements here, the new bleachers that are much closer to the action. They used to stand back farther on both sides. They weren't here last year. 3-2 pitch, hit right back up the middle, and that is a solid single. So both of their hits, and it gets past the center fielder. He tried to field it. It's going to roll all the way to the fence. He might come all the way around to score.
Oh, no.
That is going to be a single and a 2-base error on the center fielder. And a good start for Coalfield. The ball was hit right up the middle. It was hit hard. He tried to kind of scoop it as opposed to getting in front of it. And the ball went past him all the way to the wall and all the way around the third because the base runner for Coalfield.
Yeah, a mental mistake there by the center fielder. Unfortunate that the base runner is now in scoring position for something that could have just been a grounding single.
So they've got a runner at third now. That's the second hit of the ball game against Mikey. Pitch is high and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. As a freshman, you've got to just kind of get that out of your mind. You gave up a hit and then a baseball play not made, and you just got to, as a freshman, just kind of flush that, I guess. 1 ball, no strikes, the count, the pitch. Inside corner at the knees, called a strike, evens the count at 1-1 strike. Heidel is the batter, I believe, for the Yellow Jackets. He's playing center field today for Coalfield. 2-0 Oak Ridge, but Coalfield threatening with a runner at third base. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count, the pitch. Hit in the air, foul. Over towards the parking lot. There's a car in its way, and it avoids it. It's always good to not hear the big sound of metal crunching in the parking lot here at Bobby Hopkins Field.
Or glass shattering, David.
Exactly. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count, 1 out, runner at third. Mikey trying to get out of this jam here. He's got a 1-2 count to the number 7 hitter in their lineup. Heidel, he'll be followed by, looks like, Conlon. 1 ball, 2 strikes, here it comes. Breaking pitch, oh man, pretty pitch. Not called a strike, it's a beautiful breaking pitch right there. I would have rung him up.
Yeah, that looked like a really, really good one right there, David. Unfortunately, the umpire not giving us that call right there.
The video evidence does not lie. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count. The pitch. Fastball hit on the ground. Shortstop Caden Black's got 1 play. Throws on the first in time for the out. They score the run from third, making it a 2-1 ball game. So the error does come back to hurt the Wildcats in a 2-1 ball game. Ball hit on the nose, and, you know, Caden, He thought about, I think, for a moment coming home with it, but it's just smarter just to go ahead and get that out.
Yeah, great defensive play right there by Caden Black to throw it to first instead of trying to force something there at the home plate.
So nobody aboard now. The number 8 hitter stands in. And Mikey's pitch, he squares the bunt and missed it. And the count is 0-1. As I mentioned, Mikey is a freshman. Had 6 RBIs the other night against Anderson County, at Anderson County. Just going to be a really fine ball player for the Wildcats. His dad was a pretty good football player for us back in the day, Michael Teasley. Cut on and fouled at the plate, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes. Tyler, were you chuckling on my remark there about Michael Teasley?
No, I was just thinking Mikey played a lot this year as well at linebacker.
Yes, you're right. Mikey Teasley, also a member of the Oak Ridge football team. I thought Tyler was laughing at Michael's ability, his dad as a football player. No balls, 2 strikes, the count. Welch with the sign, and here comes the 0-2 pitch. Breaking pitch, cut on a miss, and that's a swinging strikeout. So an unearned run scores here for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. The Wildcats head to the bottom half of the second inning, leading the Yellow Jackets 2-1. And we'll be back on our YouTube stream on our Prep Radio channel in a moment.
Stepping up to the plate.
Welcome back once again here on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We go to the second inning, the bottom of the second inning. Mikey Teasley leads things off. It'll be Teasley, Trucks, and Welch. Truett's on deck right now for the Wildcats. I'm sure Mikey would like to get that run back. It was an unearned run. He did give up the single, but then the 2-base error allowed the runner to get all the way to the third, and he scored on the ground out. Pitch hit on the ground to the shortstop. He fields it cleanly on one hop, throws on the first in time for out number 1. Here comes Truett. He'll stand in for the Wildcats. Another senior member of the Wildcats, member of the Oak Ridge football team as well. And Truett stands in. He'll be followed in the Wildcat lineup by Kyron Welch and then Jason Slay. The rest of the order for the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Travis Free. Bombers night here at Bobby Hopkins. If you're wondering why they're wearing the black jerseys there with Bombers across, this is Oak Ridge playing. But we talked about it. It's they do this a couple times a year. They were cooking wings, I believe, today here for the fans here. And we got a pretty good turnout. I see the former head coach of the Wildcats, Joe Gaddis, in attendance here, as he normally is. Pitches the ball. Ben, did you know what a big baseball fan that Coach Gaddis was?
I know that he's a fan of the worst team that I know of in baseball, the New York Yankees. But up until you told me the other night when we were on our way up to Anderson County, I didn't know how big of a baseball fan he really was.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Truett. Lefty versus righty. Here's the pitch. High and outside. That evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Got a good ball game going for you here. 2-1 is our score. Of the Wildcats in the lead. Here's the pitch from Truett. He hits the ball on the infield. Pitcher calls for it. He's under it and makes the catch for out number 2. So a high pop up out in the infield. And 2 up and 2 down for the Wildcats. And the batter now will be the catcher, Kyron Welch. Welch is a junior player. So in this lineup, we got a junior and a senior, 3 seniors, then another junior. A sophomore, actually. Ferrera's a sophomore. Teasley's a freshman. Truett is a senior. Welch a junior, and Slay's a senior. Pitch hit on the infield. Once again, foul territory. Coming back, giving it a look, and into the Coalfield stands. Catch is not made there, and the count is 0-1. Sean Knowles doing our camera work here today. His first experience doing baseball. We appreciate him. Did a lot of basketball for us. Here's the one-strike pitch. A little bit high. And the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. The umpire, home plate umpire, asked for help, and the umpire on the first base side said he did not go. 1-1 pitch. Hit foul again. Off to the right side. This time out of play. Hits the top of the field house, the Joe Mason field house to our right. That's what it's been aptly named. I think it's coming down here pretty soon. They're going to build another one at some point. Here's a breaking pitch, inside corner but low. And the count is, I believe, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs, nobody aboard here. 2-1 our score. The Wildcats on top of the Yellow Jackets. 2-2 pitch. A little high. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Number 9 hitter Jason Slay on deck. Hope you enjoyed Jason's interview yesterday on our Covering the Bases show. And Jacob Franklin were with us. We're on every Wednesday. Ball's hit in fair territory, but it rolls foul. Just kind of a swinging bunt. Rolled off foul, and the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Every Wednesday night on BBB Channel 12, we do Covering the Bases. That features the head coach of the Wildcats, Travis Free. And as I mentioned last night, we had a couple of the senior players, Jacob Franklin and Jason Slay. I don't know if you've ever listened to me, Ben. I don't ask them always sports questions. Sometimes I ask them other questions. Like my favorite question is the zombie apocalypse question. I don't know if you've ever heard me ask. Did I ask you that, Vashon? Yeah, Vashon said I asked him in football. That ball's hit for a base hit into left center field. That's going to roll past the center fielder, rounding second and running first and heading towards second is Kyron Welch. So that's a double for the Wildcats. So Oak Ridge has a runner in scoring position. Nothing fancy, just put the bat where the ball was pitched and poked it into left center field. And the Wildcats with 2 outs have a runner in scoring position and a courtesy runner. It looks like Izzy Mitchell. So Izzy Mitchell's going to come in and run for the catcher. And the batter now will be Jason Slay. Opportunity for Jason here. He's the number 9 hitter. He'll be followed by Caden Black. 2 outs, though. 2-1 our score. If you look at the top of the screen, if you're watching the stream, obviously, it's the only way you could. We're not on the radio. You can see our sponsors. Most of those from basketball season. Want to give them a little extra publicity here for helping us out with our broadcast during basketball season, especially in the postseason. And the TSSAA rips us off here. And we're about to have the first pitch to Jason. That's a called strike, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. Got a good crowd here, Ben.
Yeah, really good crowd here at Bobby Hopkins. It's chicken wing night here at the field, and great crowd supporting for Bombers night.
Little conversation between the catcher and the pitcher of the Yellow Jackets. Coalfield wearing their pinstripes, their orange and black. The Wildcats wearing their predominantly black jerseys, white baseball pants, white numerals that say Bombers across the front. Attempted pickoff play. He didn't throw it, and Izzy quickly back to the bag. Izzy's a fine receiver for the Oak Ridge football team as well. Had a lot of catches early on in the year. Kind of went absent halfway, second half of the year. That pitches the ball, evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. I expect Izzy's going to be a big part of the offense, though, this year.
Yeah, just a great receiver. He's quick, just like Caden is, and for this baseball team, he does a great job, and he'll potentially do the same thing next year.
Balls hit foul back to the screen and actually hit the brick down below. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jason Slay. Izzy made a really, really fine catch in the Anderson County ball game to close out the game the other night, on Tuesday night, to secure the win for the Wildcats. They were going to win anyway, but as once again he whirls and fakes the throw back to second. Izzy just made a really nice play.
Yeah, great fielding play for Izzy. It looked like it hit his shoe, and then he just was able to catch it. It was a really tightrope play for him, and a great play there to end the game, and here he goes, running for three,
And it gets
he's
past him,
in
and the
there
Wildcats
safe.
are going to score a run. Here comes Izzy. He's going to get in there. So he attempted the stolen base, and he got it. But that was strike three, so it won't count. I wasn't even paying attention to that. And that is out number three, but it would have been a run if I'm watching the batter. That's the end of the second inning. The Wildcats lead it 2-1. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. My apologies once again for not paying attention to the batter. And Jason obviously struck out. I was too busy watching Izzy going. And Wildcats, obviously, that was the third out. Need to pay attention. And here's Mikey Teasley out for his third inning of work. And that pitch bounced to the plate. And I think he counted it a ball. One ball, no strikes to count. This is, let's make sure we got the right guy batting here. This is number 12. This is Brown. And he is the designated hitter in the lineup here today. He's the number 9 hitter in their lineup. Pitch is high and inside. 2 balls and no strikes to count. Camden Welch is the first baseman. Jason Slay is at second. Caden Black is at shortstop. Tyler Pickens, as the 2-0 pitch is high and inside. And the count now, I guess it's 2 balls and 1 strike. So that first pitch, I thought he might have took a swing at it, and that was the case. The outfield, Jacob Franklin in right. Richie Ferreira is in center. And the left fielder is Eddie Tan. 2 balls, 1 strike, the count. Here's the pitch. Cut on a missed. Heat at the belt, a little on the inside half of the plate. Nice pitch there by Mikey. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Do we even want to say on the air what Vashon asked you a moment ago? Do we want to embarrass him on that?
After this pitch.
There's a swinging
Swung
strike.
and a miss for a strike.
Yeah, nice pitch again by Mikey. And that's out number 1. It's always good to start with an out. And we go back to the top of the order. That'll be Cole Hines standing in, right-handed hitter.
Back to what we were mentioning, Vashon Knowles, I'll give him a little bit of slack here, but not too much to humble him a little bit. But he asked me if there's halftime in baseball, and I had to chuckle because it was during our commercial break, and I just had to let him know, no, buddy, there's no halftime.
Breaking pitch in there for a called strike. Had a big old break on it. Looked a little high, but a nice break on it by Mikey. He's ahead in the count. No balls and 1 strike. Nobody on. 1 out here in the third inning. And a 2-1 ball. Another pretty breaking pitch. Evidently that one either inside or low. And the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. He can break one off there. Did you see the movement on that pitch?
Yeah, that was a really good sliding pitch right there, and Great pitch by Mikey as he continues to deal.
Inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. I love the fact that Oak Ridge baseball, and this is a good Oak Ridge baseball team, and obviously Coalfield, coming to town, not too far away either. So I love it when there's people out here watching the games. It's just 2-1 pitch from Mikey Teasley. Looked good. Umpire says it was low. Looked pretty good, but we're up here and he's down there. Better look at it than we have. 3 balls and 1 strike. See, I'm being nice. It's my St. Patrick's Day resolution. 3-1 pitch. That one's high, and that's ball 4. So a strikeout and a leadoff walk. He is 1 for 1 with that walk, and the batter now will be number 44, Luke Treese. He stands in. What did Luke do the first time?
David, on his first appearance, he got a ground out to first.
Right-handed hitter. Runner takes his lead off of first. It's a good-sized lead. Freshman checks him, looks over there. Being held on by Camden Welch. He fakes a break. Pitches high. 1 ball, no strikes the count. One of the best things about being in the press box today is that we are avoiding the wind that we had to deal with on Tuesday. Although I do feel it coming through the door here. 1 ball, no strikes the count. Runner not going. Pitch is high. So after a strikeout to get the first out of the inning, he walks the second man in the lineup and now falls behind 2 balls and no strikes. Two-0 pitch. That's high. 3 balls and no strikes. So having a little trouble finding the strike zone all of a sudden, and this is the heart of their order. This is the number 2 guy in their lineup, Luke Treese. He'll be followed by Burgess in a moment. 3-0 pitch. That's a called strike at the belt, right down the middle, and the count is 3 balls and 1 strike. In our first ball game against Anderson County, it was a close one. It was 0-0 going into the 4th inning. Wildcats eventually won that game 5-1. This one much closer. That pitch is down low, a ball, and that's ball 4. So they've got runners at first and second with 1 out, and the number 3 hitter in their lineup stands in. And what has Mr. Burgess done today?
Braden Burgess.
On his first plate appearance, Braden Burgess struck out, courtesy of Mikey Teasley.
Slow walk from the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Travis Free. Wants to talk it over with his freshman hurler. Might have detected something at a little technical correction, or maybe just a little pep talk to his freshman. 2 on, 1 out here, 2-1. The Wildcats in the lead. Sean Knowles doing camera work here, waiting for that halftime to take place here. It looks like he's got some wings to eat there. Long conversation here. Surprised the umpire hasn't gone out to close this one down. And it's over here. I think the infield is aware of what they want to do defensively as the number 3 hitter in their lineup stands in. Coalfield, a good baseball team, good program, state tournament team. Typically always fields a good team, well coached, well supported by that community. We appreciate anybody from Coalfield who might be watching us today up there, our friends in Morgan County. Burgess stands in. He's got runners at first and second, 1 out in a 2-1 ball game with the Wildcats in the lead. Let's see what he can do. Gets the sign from Welch, comes to the plate. That's a called strike. Quick throw down, scoots off into center field. But the base runner at second had gone in on his stomach and didn't realize, honestly, the ball had gone past him. And Ferreira was backing it up just a bit, so he probably would have been gunned out at third if he had tried. So wisely, he stays at second. But a good start here. I think it was a called strike. So I think it's no balls and 1 strike, the count to and here's the 0-1 pitch. Breaking pitch is a ball. That evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Runners at first and second. One out here. Burgess stands back in. Mikey trying to work out of a jam of his own making with 2 walks. Here's the pitch. Fastball outside, and the count is 2-1. Just barely missed on that one.
Yeah, just barely hit that outside corner, and unfortunately out there for ball 2.
2 balls, 1 strike. Big lead at second base. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Hit foul off to the right side. Big night tonight for former Oak Ridge Wildcat basketballer Tajon Jones is playing tonight in a NCAA tournament game against UCLA, I believe. So good luck to Tajon tonight.
Yeah, him and former Bearden Bulldog and former University of Tennessee Volunteer playing, and Drew Pember playing against UCLA in the
Swinging
that's a
strikeout.
Swinging a strikeout.
Really needed that right there, Ben. We were runners at first and second with a umpire's not too pleased with somebody in the stands and has words for them here. An umpire can throw us out just as easily as they can throw the fans out. Have I ever told you the story about the 2 basketball games that I almost got tossed out of our gym? Our gym,
yeah,
not somebody
I've never
else's
heard
gym.
of that story, David.
Yeah, they heard me say something as they were running past and didn't like it, and they got the athletic director. Twice that happened to me. But both times I got this, there was in the old gym, and then in our current gym now several years ago. Haven't forgotten that. We used to broadcast the ball games at the home games down on the floor, so they were able to hear it.
Yeah, I remember seeing that from a lot of old pictures.
1 ball, no strikes, the count. Mikey trying to work out of this jam here. Pitch bounces away, and they might have a play at third. Bounced, and not in time. They've got runners in scoring position now, and a 2 ball, no strike count to their number 4 hitter in the lineup. What did he do in his first plate appearance?
The number 4 hitter, Levi Burgess, he got a ground out to Mikey Teasley, who threw it to first for the out.
Somebody else who's playing tonight, Jada Gwynn, is playing in the NCAA tournament. We'll talk about that after this pitch. 2 balls, no strikes, the count. The pitch hit on the ground, weakly to the first baseman. Welch to Teasley, and that is out number 3. So the Wildcats get the play they needed. They got the strikeout, and then the double after the 2 base runners moved up on the pitch that was in the dirt. Wildcats got an easy, soft ground ball, and that is out number 3. So Mikey works out of trouble, and the Wildcats maintain the lead 2-1. We'll come back and talk about Jada Gwynn and the 3rd inning in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. Here we go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. The Wildcats are on top by a score of 2-1. Good job working out of a jam for Mikey Teasley in the top half of this inning. Talking about Jada Gwynn. She's playing tonight in the NCAA tournament. Tennessee Tech taking on Virginia Tech, I believe, at 9 o'clock. Monmouth. Okay, thank you. You messed me up there, Ben, giving me the false information to start with. But you know, it's great for Jada and for Tajon tonight to be playing in the NCAA tournament, representing Oak Ridge. Pitch to Caden, hits him, and here comes a stolen base here. I can guarantee it. Caden's going to be the second time he's reached base. He walked his first plate appearance, scored the first run of the game for the Wildcats. And here comes Jacob Franklin. Jacob had a double in his first plate appearance and an RBI, and he stands in, right-handed hitter. Jacob was kind of disappointed in his first two games, his at-bats. Didn't think he was hitting the ball well, and Coach Free told me last night that in the cage leading up to this game, he's made a slight adjustment in his stance in the way he was holding the bat, and expected him to get two doubles, and lo and behold, he's got one already in this one.
Jacob Franklin already with one double already tonight, and scoring the base runner Caden Black, who's ahead of him.
Pitch is cut on and missed, and the count is no balls and one strike. I think the Coalfield coach didn't think that ball hit Caden and had words with the umpire. He's already shown these a little volatile. You don't want to get him too mad at you. Here's a throw over to first, and Caden back. Caden's a junior. Will be playing at the next level, whatever that might be for him. He's got that kind of talent. Great fielder, great hitter, great base runner. Draws another throw over to first. Got a one-strike count on the senior Jacob Franklin. Jacob will be followed by Eddie Tan and then Tyler Pickens in the Wildcat lineup here. A little shorter lead. Pitch is hit in the gap once again, and here comes double number 2. He's going to roll to the fence, and let's see, he might have a triple. He gets the green light to score, does Caden Black, and just like he told me on the television show, he promised me 2 doubles. And lo and behold, he's got them.
I think it's because Vashawn Knowles is here for this game that was a prediction pulled into fruition.
Wow, I mean that's like Vashawn's prediction up at Campbell County. Yeah. And they're going to see if he touched the bag at third. In high school, you don't do that in high school. You just appeal it. It's not like the major leagues where you have to throw over there. All you have to do is basically say, the umpire will say he missed the bag at third. So, but anyway, it's 3-1. Wildcats scoring, and here's a throwback, almost a throwback to second. Jacob back. So Jacob has 2 RBIs, and that's what you expect your senior to do. You know, he pitched a pretty decent ball game the other night, getting the win over Anderson County, and his bat's always been good for the Wildcats in these last several years. And despite his, I guess it was a labrum issue that he had to kind of sideline him, didn't play in the summer, as we mentioned. Batter's Eddie Tan. No count on him as of yet. Here's the pitch. It's high. 1 ball and no strikes. 3-1 Wildcats. And you're all over the scoreboard there, Ben. Good job. You hear the very vocal Oak Ridge dugout. Here's the pitch to Eddie. Pitch is high. Double clutches, and that's another stolen base. Jacob has 2 stolen bases. The second time he's stolen third in this ball game. The Wildcats have a runner there. And a 2-ball, no strike count on the senior Eddie Tan. Another RBI opportunity here for the transfer from Hardin Valley Academy. Lefty comes to the plate, hit in the air. Right side, second baseman drifting back, right fielder coming on. The catch is made, tagging and coming in to score is Jacob Franklin, and the Wildcats lead it by a score of 4-1. Sacrifice fly, RBI for Eddie Tan, and the Wildcats lead it now 4-1. Top of the order once again. They appealed once again at third to see if he left early, and once again the umpire says he did not. So the Wildcats have 2 on the board here. It's honestly pretty close to the exact same way the Wildcats did it in the first inning. And here comes Tyler Pickens. Tyler grounded out, picked up an RBI, his first plate appearance. Right-handed hitting senior, 4-1 Wildcats. The wind, the pitch to the plate is on the inside corner for a called strike. You know, if you've got speed and if you're willing to do the base running the Wildcats like to do, is that ball is hit softly in the left field, might drop in, and it will for a single for Tyler Pickens. The ball just over the head of the shortstop in shallow left field, dropped in front of the left fielder, and that's a single, a 2-out single for Tyler Pickens. And Tyler, there was nobody he thought covering the bag second, almost took off towards second. As the Wildcats now, Richie Ferreira will step in. Richie's had a couple good ball games leading to this one. I think he was a strikeout victim his first plate appearance. Tyler's the runner at first, senior. Lefty versus lefty here. Pitch is hit in the air. Center field, pretty deep. Going back on it, the center fielder, he has a beat on it and makes the catch for out number 3. Or 2, sorry. I'm lost here.
Coming to the plate now for the Wildcats, number 3, Mikey Teasley.
Mikey Teasley is the batter here, right-handed hitter. My apology. Richie likes to swing at that first pitch. I mean, it's one thing he likes to do.
Yeah, that's how aggressive he is, and he plays that way, and he's gotten a couple of opportunities out of it.
Runner is going. The ball is hit foul at the plate. And inevitably, Ben, we always get this comment when we do the games, streaming the games on our YouTube channel. The scoreboard is set up for basketball. It says period as opposed to inning. We understand that. We know baseball's innings, obviously, but just ignore that. As the throw over to first and back safely, we go Tyler Pickens. I always get that. Somebody will say, hey, you realize that it's in baseball, it's innings and not periods. But we're too lazy. As the ball's hit in the hole, that's a base hit into left field. So the Wildcats will have runners at first and second with nobody out. Mikey Teasley with a base hit, and Mikey continues to do good things at the plate. We'll have a runner for him coming into to run. It looks like Eli Baldwin. Eli Baldwin will come in to run for the pitcher, Mikey Teasley. Here comes Truex standing in for the Wildcats. Over 1, I think, in the ball game. What did Truett do his first plate appearance?
On Truett's first plate appearance, he rolled it over to the pitcher for a ground out.
2 runs in here in the 3rd inning. The Wildcats up their lead to 4-1 over Coalfield. Wildcats trying to go 3-0 to start the season. Take on Campbell County coming up Monday and Tuesday. The Monday game, I think, is at Campbell County. Pretty sure it is. I think we'll broadcast that game. Tuesday, I'll be at Atlanta with my real job as the pitch is on the outside corner, but 2 outside. And the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Looking forward to Brave season. Are you not? Are you too, Ben?
It's almost time for Braves baseball, David, and as that ball goes out for another ball. Next week, I'll be down in the Tampa Bay area being able to watch the Braves as they take on the Tampa Bay Rays next week.
2 balls and no strikes to count. Runners at first and second, 2 in. Steps off the mound. Kind of clears something out of his eye. Tyler Pickens is the base runner out at second. He had a soft single to left, then a pitch on the inside corner for a called strike, and catcher throws down to first trying to get Eli Baldwin, but not in time. Almost threw it in the right field. And the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Bashan learning baseball here, learning how to direct the camera in certain areas. I can't wait to see the broadcast later on our YouTube channel. Pitch is hit on the ground. Third base side, that's going to be an easy out at third. They get the force of Tyler Pickens, and that is out number 3. But another productive inning for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge plates 2 runs. The second double of the night for Jacob Franklin scores Caden Black, and the Wildcats score a second run as well as Jacob Franklin comes in to score as well. We go to the top of the 4th inning here at Bobby Hopkins Field. Oak Ridge on top, 4-1, and we'll be back to Bobby Hopkins in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field on our YouTube channel Prep Radio, our second broadcast this week of Oak Ridge Baseball. Wildcats taking on Coalfield here at Bobby Hopkins Field on this much warmer March day here. Glad you are watching, or if you're watching later on, I know all of our games are archived. There's games from the 80s on our Prep Radio channel. Yeah, I started when I was 5, Ben. That's why. That's why. As Armstrong leads things off for the Yellow Jackets, and he takes a called strike at the knees, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. Mikey Teasley has given up an unearned run to this point and leads in the game 4-1. And the 1 strike pitch. Hit in the air, right side, right fielder, second baseman. It's going to be the right fielder making the catch for the Wildcats, and that is out number 1. The catch made out there by Jacob Franklin. And that's out number 1 here in the top of the 4th inning.
Coming to the plate now, number 10, Jackson Treese.
Jackson Treese stands in. I believe Jackson is an 8th grader playing ball for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. And don't see many 8th graders. Of course, Coalfield obviously a smaller school, obviously about 160, 170 students. So you got to play who you can, and I believe he's an 8th grader. He takes the strike, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. Mikey Teasley. I don't know why I said Treese. I don't know. I'm not with it today. It's that Princeton and that Furman score that's kind of messing me up here.
Yeah, the March Madness is rolling with David tonight.
Cut on a miss. The count is 0-2. So Mikey Teasley, the freshman pitcher, trying to finish off the 8th grader right here. 9th grader versus 8th grader, and he does. Strike 3 on a breaking pitch on the inside corner of the plate, and that's out number 2 here in the 4th inning. And coming to the plate now, number 5, Levi Heidel, left-handed hitter. Pretty pitch, pretty breaking pitch right there to get out Treese. 2 outs here, nobody aboard. 4-1 Wildcats. Appreciate you listening to our broadcast or watching our broadcast. Pitch is low and inside. 1 ball and no strikes. The other night, Vashon, I know you can't talk. You're not close to the mic here. The other night we were at Anderson County. Let me get this pitch in. 1 ball, no strikes. Welch with the sign. And the 1-0 pitch, high. The other night we were at Anderson County, and we were probably about as close to the concession stand there as we are here at Bobby Hopkins. And your boy, Caleb Riker, he abandoned the camera to go to the concession stand as that pitch is hit foul off to the left side and out of play. To his credit, it did smell really, really good.
It smelled amazing, and he left his post without telling me, so then I had to join and go on camera instead of him staying at his place and doing his job.
For whatever reason, we couldn't get Caleb to come tonight. I guess because he froze a little bit the other night. 2-1 pitch. Ooh, inside, almost hit him. Got his 3 balls and 1 strike. One thing about Caleb, Ben and I both told him, and it was like 35 degrees during the ball game. We both told him, dress warmly, Caleb, and guess what?
He did not.
He did not. So maybe he was trying to go to the concession stand to be around that grill. I don't know. 3 balls and 1 strike the count. Nobody aboard. 2 outs here in the 4th inning. The pitch from Teasley, cut on and missed. Even a full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Four to 1 our score. Wildcats on top. As you can see the scoreboard on the lower part of the stream. We appreciate Mark Hayes setting up the stream for us today. Pitch is cut on a miss, and that's a strikeout. 3 up and 3 down for Mikey Teasley here in the top half of the 4th inning. We go to the bottom half of the 4th here at Bobby Hopkins Field. The Wildcats on top, 4-1, and we'll be back to Bobby Hopkins in a moment. David Clary back here along with Ben George for Sean Knowles here. The Wildcats on top 4-1. We go to the bottom half of the fourth inning. Kyron Welch to lead things off for the Wildcats. He'll be followed by Jason Slay. Then back to the top of the order to Caden Black. First pitch is high. A ball. Brazel's gone all the way for the Yellow Jackets. With the exception of Oak Ridge's top of the order, he's done a really good job. That's a pitch on the inside corner for a called strike. And that evens the count at 1-1 strike. So, Tyler, are you surprised that that Caleb Riker abandoned his post to go to the concession stand? No comment from Mr. Carr down there? That does not surprise him. He coached him, of course, at Robertsville in football. 1-1 strike the count. The pitch. Cut on a missed. And the count is 1-2 strikes. Nobody aboard, nobody out here. The Wildcats batting in the bottom of the fourth inning. 1-2 strikes, the 1-2 pitch. Breaking pitch stayed alive. Count remains at 1-2 strikes. I'm going to give you a little trivia question here, Ben. Do you know who Bobby Hopkins is or was?
I do not, David.
Bobby Hopkins was an outstanding baseball player who played for the Wildcats in the 1950s. Let's get this 2-2 pitch in. Hit foul and out of play. Played for the University of Tennessee and was just an outstanding all-around athlete. Bobby Hopkins, he had a brother, I think, B.B. Hopkins. Just a great family. Played in the 50s. I got to meet him several years ago, just sitting in the corner of the bleachers up here. Had no idea. And this is when I was in high school. And got to meet him once as that ball's hit on the ground to the shortstop. Fielded on 2 hops, throws on the first in time to retire Kyron Welch for out number 1. Passed away tragically and suddenly, I think in 1978. Long time ago. But they named the field for him, but just one of the greatest baseball players that ever played here, actually. So, and the batter now is Jason Slay. What has Jason done today?
So far, Jason Slay on his first plate appearance, as this ball goes in for strike 1, was struck out on his first plate appearance, David.
Swings and misses at the first pitch. No balls and 1 strike. We might have to close the door here. The wind's kind of blowing in pretty good. Oh, boy, that pitch looked good. Count as a ball. 1 strike. 1 out here. Nobody aboard here. Oak Ridge on top 4-1. Gray Strang was another Tennessee Vol. Played ball here. That's what that field's named for. Kevin Callia Field right behind us was a Wildcatter back in the late 90s. Passed away in high school on that field down there at Gray Strang. Tough, as that's a cut on miss, and that's a swinging strikeout of Jason Slay. That is out number 2, and to the top of the order we go to Caden Black. Caden walked and was hit by a pitch. So no official plate appearances in the ball game, but he scored 2 runs. Has a couple stolen bases as well, so a good night so far for Caden, although he won't show in his batting average. He's no official plate appearances.
Yeah, great night so far for Caden, and like you said, his stats won't show it, but way to get 2 runs already for this Wildcats team.
Hits the ball foul and out of play, off to the left side, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. Maybe we should tell Vashon we play 7 innings here in high school ball. In the major leagues, they play 9, so we're a little bit more than almost halfway here. Breaking pitch hit to center field pretty well. Center fielder back on. It's going to go over his head. We've got a triple coming right here. Rounding second is Caden Black, and he's going to go with a sliding triple. Ball was hit well to deep center field near the 357 mark, and that's a triple for Caden Black, and now he's in scoring position, and the batter will be the doubles man, the double deuce here. That is Jacob Franklin.
Coming to the plate now, number 7.
Yeah, great opportunity right there to put himself in scoring position right there. And Caden Black, we mentioned it before that his batting average wouldn't show the stats there, but of course we ended up being wrong, as now he goes 1 for 1 on his appearances.
Back-to-back nights with triples. Looks like we're going to have a pitching change for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. While we determine who the new guy is going to be, let's take a break, because the music is going to blank out our stream. We'll be back on our YouTube stream in a moment. Welcome back to Bobby Hopkins Field. Oak Ridge on top, 4-1. Wildcats have a runner at third, Caden Black. His second triple in 2 games for the Wildcats. He's at third base, and the batter standing in for the Wildcats will be Jacob Franklin. Got a new pitcher, Aiden Sexton, comes in to pitch for the Yellow Jackets. Ben's working on Brazel's final statistics here. Of course, it won't be done until we find out what Caden does. Could be another run charged to Mr. Brazel. It's up to Jacob Franklin here. Stands in. He's got 2 doubles, 2 for 2 in the game, 2 RBIs, 2 outs. The pitch to him is a called, nope, it's going to be a ball. 1 ball, no strikes to count. I anticipated a strike there. Baseball, you can't do that. Got to pay attention. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch. Inside corner for a called strike, and that does even the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. Two outs, runner at third. Caden Black. Timeout is asked for by Jacob. He steps out. The Wildcats wearing their Oak Ridge Bombers jerseys today. Team from the 50s. The pitch is going to be a little low. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike. 4-1 Wildcats. The Wildcats scored 2 in the first inning, 2 more in the third, trying to plate a run or 2 here in the 4th inning, the bottom of the 4th. There are 2 outs, though. Jacob ahead in the count now, 2 balls and 1 strike. Franklin stays in the box. Sexton comes to the plate, hit well, deep to left. Is gone! A home run by Jacob Franklin. And the Wildcats play 2 more runs. That's 4 RBIs in the ball game for Jacob Franklin. 3 extra base hits, and the Wildcats now lead Coalfield 6-1 on the long home run by Jacob Franklin.
Great hit right there by Jacob Franklin, driving it out. And we've mentioned it tonight that he didn't have a couple of great performances hitting-wise past couple games, but right there is contributing really well in his past 3 plate appearances.
Eddie Tan is the batter now, so the Wildcats do score 2 more runs. That pitch is down low, so the credit that the run of Caden Black to Brazel, and Sexton owns that run, obviously. That closes out Mr. Brazel as that pitch is on the outside corner at the knees. Called a strike. 2 outs. The Wildcats doing damage with 2 outs here. Here's the pitch. Hit in the air. Shallow left field. The left fielder in on it. The center fielder as well. It's the left fielder who makes the catch for out number 3. But the Wildcats score 2, and they do it on the strength of a 2-run home run by Jacob Franklin. We go to the top of the 5th inning here at Bobby Hopkins Field on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio, and the Wildcats lead it by a score of 6-1, and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Bobby Hopkins Field. We go to the 5th inning here. Oak Ridge on top 6-1. The Wildcats Just kind of like we did at Anderson County the other night, Ben. We did not score in the second inning, but scored in every other inning.
Yeah,
And-
it seems like something that has been a recurring thing for these Wildcats past couple games.
6-1 Oak Ridge. And Coalfield trailing here as we go to the fifth inning. Mikey Teasley's gone all the way for the Wildcats. The freshman hits the first guy he faces here in the fifth inning. So good start for Coalfield here. They've got their leadoff man on. The only run scored by Coalfield to this point was unearned. A single and a two-base error allowed the runner to get to third, then a strikeout, and then they scored that unearned run. So Mikey's done pretty well here. We'll get Brazel's total statistics here in a moment. As the runner takes his lead off of first, the ball is hit on the ground just up the first base side and foul. And the count is no balls and one strike. Brown the batter here for the Yellow Jackets. Short lead at first. Mikey to the plate. The pitch is a little bit high. 1 ball and no strikes. Oak Ridge trainer Brian Leffler in the house today. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. 6-1 Wildcats over the Yellow Jackets. Very short lead at first. Mikey checks the runner over there. Brown back in with a 1-1 pitch. Breaking pitch, that stays up high. 2 balls and 1 strike. So, Ben, what did Brazel do? What was his final line?
David, final pitching statistics for Levi Brazel was a finish with 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 4 and 2/3 innings pitched.
Thanks, Ben. That pitch is a ball, and the count is 3 balls and 1 strike, maybe 3 balls and 1 strike. Mikey had a little bit of control issues previous inning, the previous 2 innings ago, actually, when he walked a couple. Got him 1-2-3 the last inning. 3-1 pitch, here it comes. That's ball 4. They've got runners at first and second, and nobody out here. And so Mikey in a little bit of trouble here. The way he's kind of wandering around the mound here, he might be done just by, and here comes Coach Free. We'll see. Let's see if I can see anybody warming up in the Oak Ridge bullpen. Looks like Alex Franklin has his glove, and looks like Alex is about to take over from Mikey. He's taking a couple steps. He's waiting for the signal, and here comes the junior Alex Franklin. And Mikey Teasley should get a good round of applause from the Oak Ridge fans. Mikey does a good job, and the freshman will come out leading in a 6-1 ball game here in the 5th inning, and Alex Franklin will take over. And he does get a nice round of applause from the Oak Ridge fans here at Bobby Hopkins. While Alex warms up, we'll turn off our mics once again because Tyler's about to blast the music. We'll be back in a moment. David Clary back here along with Ben George for Sean Knowles. The Wildcats on top of Coalfield 6-1. But Coalfield has runners at first and second and nobody out. And the batter now will be the junior, Jacob, or Alex Franklin, uh, brother, younger brother of Jacob Franklin, who's 3 for 3 with 4 RBIs and 3 extra base hits in the game. But this is Alex. Pitched the other night in the Anderson County game and throws one low, 1 ball, no strikes. He was part of that combined no-hitter on Monday night when the Wildcats defeated the Anderson County Mavericks 5-1. Runners at first and second, nobody out here. Franklin has the sign from Welch, and here's the 1-0 Welch one. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Calls timeout just as he was about to throw. They don't usually grant timeouts when he's already in his windup, but he got the timeout called.
Yeah, and David, alluding back to his game on Monday, he and Tyler Pickens pitched really well in that combined no-hitter.
That's a strike. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Working from the stretch, Alex Franklin. He's a good pitcher. Did a good job last year for the Wildcats in several starts and relief appearances. He's a catcher, can play other positions. We'll see him play other positions. Has been primarily a runner in the first 2 ball games. That pitch is low and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike the count. Runners at first and second for the Yellow Jackets. We're in the 5th inning. In a 6-1 ball game, the Wildcats in the lead. Alex's pitch hit softly into right center field. That's a base hit. Coming around third and coming in to score. The cutoff man throw goes to him, and they've got runners on the corners, and it's now 6-2. A solid single to right center field, and it's a 6-2 lead for the Wildcats.
Coming to the plate now for the Yellow Jackets, number 43.
Yeah, right there, David, an unfortunate hit, but bringing in a run for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. And
nice piece of hitting, actually, by the Yellow Jackets, and that run is charged to Mikey. First earned run of the game for him. Runner at third is his responsibility as well. 6-2 the score. Oak Ridge fans giving Alex a little encouragement from the sideline. That breaking pitch on the inside corner for a called strike. Count is no balls and 1 strike. Must have just barely hit the corner there because it looked pretty inside where he caught it, but we'll take it. No balls and 1 strike. Sorry, Coalfield people watching. As that pitch is hit on the ground, shortstop. Caden Black fields it's going to score a run. They go back to first, not in time. They do get the force out. The ball eludes the first baseman, and they'll have a runner at second. So now it's 6-3. Give an RBI there on the ground out. Ball was hit not really hard enough, really, for them to turn the double play. They got a good turn. The throw bounced up to Camden out there, or Caden, and Camden. Anyway, the ball eluded him, and they've got a runner at second.
yeah, right there, it got to Caden. Caden threw it over to second to Jason Slay, but fortunately, the runner was a little bit slow getting to first, but unfortunately, Camden just couldn't grasp it in his glove.
So that's 1 out here. Another runner in scoring position. 6-3 is the score now. So that big home run by Jacob Franklin, getting those extra runs. There's a called strike. Another breaking pitch on the inside half of the plate. The count is no balls and 1 strike. What has this guy done? Wind blowing a little bit more. You can see Alex's jersey flopping in the wind.
And David, so far for Braden Burgess, he struck out on both of his plate appearances.
Bounces away from the catcher, and then now they've got a runner at third. So got another runner at third base here. 2 runs in for them in a 6-3 ball game. 1 out here. Alex Franklin trying to close it out. Both of those runs charged to Mikey in this one. Franklin from the stretch, checks the runner at third, comes to the plate. Breaking pitch cut away and bounces away from the catcher. Covering home is Alex Franklin, but he slides in safely for the 4th run of the ball game for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. Swinging strike there, ball bounced away in the dirt, and the count is 1-2, but Bad news is they've put 3 on the board here. If you're a Wildcat fan, the bad news here in the 5th to make it a ball game once again, 6-4. 1 out now, nobody aboard. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Here's the pitch, breaking pitch, bounces away. There's so much movement on it. Welch having a little trouble keeping those as the count is now, I believe, even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sun beginning to set here. Bobby Hopkins getting a little bit cooler here, but not cold. We were cold this time.
Yeah, not as frigid as it was Tuesday at Anderson County.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Cut on a miss, and he's had a rough night here. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Is that the golden sombrero? What do they call that when you strike out 3 times, or is it 4 times?
Number 7, Levi.
I honestly think it might be 4. It might be 4.
That's what I was thinking too. We might get a chance to see that. If we're only in the 5th inning, he's probably going to get at least, we might get another at bat. 2 outs now. Nobody aboard here. The pitch hit on the ground. Jason Slay fields it, tries to field it, throws on the first. No, it's not in time, not dug out by the first baseman. So he slides into first and gets some dirt there. And I think he thought he was out, but the ball bounced away. So they've got a runner on. So Jason fielded it and then dropped it, still had plenty of time and delivered the throw. And I think if it had been pulled out or picked out of the dirt there, it would have been an out, but he wasn't able to do it. So that's going to be an error on the play. And they've got the tying run at the plate in the person of Zach Armstrong. What has Zach done today?
So far, David, for Zach Armstrong, he's gotten outs on both of his plate appearances.
Swings and hits it foul over towards their dugout. And the count is no balls and 1 strike. Mikey's first run was unearned, and the two runs that scored against him in this inning were earned runs. And the 4th run as well. That one's against Alex Franklin. Pitch is hit on the ground, this time nicely fielded by Welch. Camden Welch fields it at first, and that is out number 3. Ball's hit right on the nose, but out number 3. Big inning for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. They score 3 times, and they trail the Wildcats 6-4 as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Here on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio, we appreciate you. If you are watching our broadcast for the first time on our Prep Radio channel, subscribe to us. And you can do that on the YouTube page. Just subscribe. You're not going to get emails or spam or anything like that, but you will get alerted every time we go live on our YouTube channel. So, and we're not going to be able to broadcast all the Oak Ridge baseball games, and we're kind of sporadic when we do. I'll try to keep you updated. We are going to stream the Monday ball game, but you will be alerted every time by an email we go live, and that's the only emails you'll ever get from us. So subscribe to our channel, and we'd appreciate it. 6-4 Wildcats over Coalfield. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. We'll be back in a moment. It'll be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters and Coach Travis Free's lineup here in the 5th inning. The Wildcats on top 6-4, 3 runs in the top half of this inning. Let's see what Tyler Pickens can do. Leading things off here, he had a single his last plate appearance. Takes a breaking pitch at the belt for a called strike. No balls and 1 strike the count. It'll be Pickens, Ferreira, and Franklin. Pitches down low, a ball, evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Richie's on deck for the Wildcats. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Tyler, hit foul towards the third base coaching box. Of course, nobody ever really stands in the coaching boxes anymore. It's a good way to lose your teeth. Kind of stands back about 15 feet in back of the box. First base coaching box barely occupied. 1-2 pitch. Here it comes to Tyler Pickens. Hit on the ground, left field, past the shortstop, in the left field. And the Wildcats had their leadoff man aboard once again. So good start for Oak Ridge, trying to get some of those runs back here in the 5th inning.
Coming to the plate
Yeah,
now,
David,
number
and right
12,
here,
Richie
after that
Ferreira.
hit by Tyler Pickens, just trying to execute and get some more runs in to try and widen the gap for this Oak Ridge team.
Richie stands in for the Wildcats. Lefty versus righty here. Tyler a short lead. The pitch low. Inside. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. Catcher has to adjust his shoes and pads on the left side. Gives Richie an opportunity to look down for the sign here. Runner at first base, Tyler Pickens. Ball was hit hard past the shortstop, just got under his glove in the left field. See what Tyler does. The Wildcats, regardless who it is on base, Coach Free likes to steal, likes to go, and they're going to throw over to first, and that Tyler's back safely. Richie stands in. Heading the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Pitch is hit, foul territory on the third base side. The third baseman under it, and I believe makes the catch for out number 1. Kind of staggered a bit out there, but was able to stay with it and make the catch, and that's 1 away here. And the batter will be Mikey Teasley.
Yeah,
Teasley
unfor-
will stand in for the Wildcats.
Mikey Teasley.
What has Mikey done here in this one?
So far for Mikey, David, on his first appearance, he got a ground out and then a single in his last appearance.
6-4 our score. The Wildcats in the lead. Mikey's gonna, or Alex is gonna re-enter, I believe. I think that's what was just told to the Coalfield. You can leave the game and re-enter. Throw over to first once again, and Tyler Pickens back to the bag, kind of awkwardly as he slides into first. He wasn't too far off the bag anyway. Coach told me that Jason Slay is the dirtiest guy on the team, but I think Miss Pickens is going to have to do some laundry tonight because Tyler's going on the pitch. Good pitch, bounced up there on the throw, and it's a stolen base for Tyler Pickens. Wildcats will have a runner in scoring position. Wildcats have done a lot of stealing here in this one. I know Jacob has 2. Caden, I think, has perhaps 2 in the game, and now Tyler Pickens, at least 5 that I can remember. We'll check that in a second. Here comes the pitch. Hit on the ground, third base side. Looks the runner back at second, throws high. Runner still advances to third, but the out is made by the Coalfield Yellow Jackets at first, and Teasley is retired for the second out, and the batter now will be Truett Tex.
Number 20, Truett Tex.
So the Wildcats need some 2-out magic like they got in the previous inning when Jacob Franklin hit a 2-run home run. Truett stands in, battling some injuries in the preseason, and of course during football season, battled those injuries. Runner at third, pitches outside a ball, 1 ball, no strikes, the count. Sean doing camera work here. We're going to ask him if he likes doing what sport he likes doing best here. It's pretty easy to do baseball, but he's does our camera in basketball as well as that pitch is outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Kyron Welch is on deck here. Play is halted just for a second. Catcher wants to have some words out there with his pitcher. And the other infielders come in to give him a little bit of encouragement. Tell him to slow down just a bit here. He's just been barely missing to Truett here, just barely missing the strike zone. But he has fallen behind 2 balls and no strikes. Truett stands back in. Here's the pitch. That's high. 3 balls and no strikes. Wildcats would love to get another base runner here. Kyron, the catcher, on deck. He still has his gear on. The pitch is called strike at the belt on the inside half of the plate. And the count, it's the old automatic there, Ben. Usually when it's 3-0, if it's anywhere close, they're going to call a strike.
Yeah, it just seems that way, David.
3-1 pitch hit hard to the shortstop. He feels it throw. Throws and in time. Ball was hit right on the nose by Truett, but right to the shortstop. The Wildcats get a base runner. They leave him stranded. We go to the top of the 6th inning here at Bobby Hopkins Field. The Wildcats still on top of the Coalfield Yellow Jackets, 6-4. And we'll be back to Bobby Hopkins in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. John Ulrich is the new pitcher for the Oak Ridge Wildcats. He'll be the third pitcher used in the lineup here. So John pitched pretty well against Anderson County the other day.
Yeah, great performance in relief for John to be able to finish that game in the last 2 innings. And then in his first plate appearance, David, he got a walk in his first plate appearance and was able to finish that game off with a 14-2 win for the Wildcats.
Coming to the mound now for the Wildcats, number 15, John Ulrich.
So John Ulrich is the new pitcher for the Oak Ridge High School Wildcats. Kind of a quick night's work for Alex Franklin. Pitched that 1 inning, and John's going to come in. Pitch will have, I think, 2 or 3 strikeouts against Anderson County the other day. So his second relief appearance of the season for the Wildcats. And who's he facing to lead things off here in the 6th inning? John is a junior, right-handed hitter. Slowed a little bit last year with injuries. First pitch is hit foul, and that'll play down the right side.
So, David, that is Jackson Treese leading off for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets here in inning number 6.
John ahead in the count. No balls and 1 strike. I told John the other night, him pitching so well is going to keep him from doing camera work for us again, like he did last year. Pitches hit to Mikey Teasley at third, throws with a bullet across the diamond to Tyler Pickens, who's taken over first base duties here, and that's out number 1. Mikey's a slick fielder, and he just displayed that arm right there with a nice throw across the diamond.
Yeah, great play there to make the play, rather, by Mikey Teasley, throwing it over to first to Tyler Pickens, over to Camden Welch for that great play.
I think that's Tyler out there at first now.
I noticed that. I second-guessed myself, and then I saw a tall, statured young man right there at first base.
First pitch is a ball. 1 ball, no strikes the count. One ball, no strikes the count. John comes to the plate. Outside corner for a called strike, and that evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike, the count. John comes to the plate. Hit foul into the parking lot. Let's see. Didn't hear anything. So that's why I learned years ago, Ben, you park a long ways away.
Oh, you park ways away. I'm pretty sure I parked over by the softball field, ways away from here to be able to not get the insurance money to pay for it.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count, 1 out, nobody aboard here in the 6th. Coalfield batting here. John Orr comes to the plate with the 1-2 pitch. A little bit low, evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. What has this young man done here today?
So far, Levi Heidel has struck out on his first appearance and flown out on his second.
2-2 pitch. A little outside and low. Full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So the defensive changes, obviously. Tyler moves over to play first base. Welch is out. Mikey Teasley is playing third now. That's the changes. Of course, John Ork now pitching. 3-2 pitch. Here it comes. Hit foul. Off to the left side. And off the side of that car on a bounce. It's okay, though. Kind of soft little bounce there. And the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Oak Ridge and Coalfield, Monday the Wildcats will be traveling up to Campbell County, take on the Campbell County Cougars. And we'll have the broadcast for you on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Then Tuesday night, Campbell County will come to Bobby Hopkins Field, weather permitting. Of course, this time of year, you never know. About to have another 3-2 pitch from John Ulrich, the junior hurler, tall, slender junior. 3-2 pitch. That's high and outside. That's a 1-out walk for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets.
To the plate now, number 4, Waylon Burgess.
Burgess, the batter, once again, and he stands in for the Yellow Jackets. This Oak Ridge Bombers night here. If you're wondering why the Wildcats aren't wearing cardinal and gray, this is a kind of a tribute to the 1950s team. A quick throw over to first, not a big lead there. Nice throw over there by John. And the Bombers, some of the Bombers are in attendance here tonight. Former team here back in the 50s. Short lead at first. Here's the pitch to the plate. Just a little bit high. 1 ball, no strikes the count. 6-4, Oak Ridge in the lead. Here we play here in the 6th inning. Pickens holds the runner on at first. John working from the stretch, checks the runner, and the right-hander comes to the plate. Squares to bunt, takes the ball high, 2 balls and no strikes. It's a Coalfield team, state tournament team, good athletes, good ball players. These guys have probably played together for years and years. Playing good ball here against the Wildcats here. Wildcats using their 3rd pitcher of the day. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Another ball. It's high. Just barely missing. But it's 3 balls and no strikes. This is the number 8 hitter in the Coalfield lineup here. 3 balls, no strikes. Runner at first. 1 out. Squares the bunt once again. Takes another ball. That's 4 straight. John missing on those. So they now have the tying runners on with 1 out. And the batter now will be number 22, Riley Brown. He stands in. What has Riley done in the ballgame?
So far, David, Riley Brown on his first plate appearance struck out and then got a ground out on his second appearance.
So the Wildcats in the lead here, 6-4. But a little bit of a mess here in the 6th inning. They've got runners at first and second. The pitch hit in the air left side, should be caught. Left fielder drifting back on it. He's under it, and he makes the catch for out number 2. Nice catch out there by the Wildcats, and that'll be the second out of the inning. 1 pitch, 1 out. Back to the top of the order we go.
To the plate for the Yellow Jackets, number 3, Cole Hines.
Cole Hines steps in for the Yellow Jackets. They've had a couple of innings where they've had a lot of base runners, but the Wildcats pitchers have been able to get out of it for the most part, with the exception of the last inning when they put 3 on the board here. Let's see what John can do here. 2 outs, 2 on in a 2-run game. Breaking pitch on the inside corner for a called strike. No balls and 1 strike the count. Wildcat dugout giving John Ulrich a little bit of a encouragement, trying to get him through this inning. One strike the count. Big lead at second. Wildcats not holding on the runners. Here's John's pitch to the plate. Breaking pitch hit and caught. A beautiful play by the first baseman, Tyler Pickens, who caught it for the third out of the inning. It's probably too quick for Vashon to get it, but a really, really nice play by Tyler Pickens.
Great catch right there by Tyler Pickens. A great way to end the inning right there in this top half.
So we go to the bottom half of the sixth inning here at Bobby Hopkins Field. The Wildcats maintaining their 2-run lead. 6-4 our score. We'll be back on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio, in a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Bobby Hopkins Field. We go to the bottom half of the sixth inning. Kyron Welch leads things off for the Wildcats. He'll be followed by Jason Slay. Then the top of the order, Caden Black, and hopefully many more. If you're a Wildcat fan, we know we have some Coalfield people watching us, and we appreciate that. As that pitch is hit softly on the right side, the first baseman makes the catch just in foul territory for out number one. So Kyron is retired on one pitch. And they called catcher's interference. Thank you very much. And if that's the case, that means the runner is safe at first. So the Wildcats will have a base runner. You don't see that very often. What happens there when he swings the bat, if the catcher makes contact with the bat on the play, it's catcher interference. So thank you for that. Appreciate that. So the Wildcats have a base runner here. A little bit of luck involved there.
Yeah, a little bit of luck as that was caught there in foul territory and didn't seem to be, from what I saw, interference, but fortunately it is.
That's because we're watching where the ball goes and not that. Looks like we got Izzy running down at first base for Kyron. He's the courtesy runner. Of course, in high school ball, you can run for the catcher and the pitcher. Not like the major leagues where you have a pinch hitter as they bunt, and it's going to be bouncing in front of the pitcher. He has one play, and it's on the first. He thought about going down to second there, but he hesitated just a bit, and there was no way he was going to get Izzy. So he's in scoring position. That's a sacrifice for Jason. And the batter now will be Caden Black. Caden's had a really good ball game. He has walked in the game, was hit by a pitch, and has a triple, and has scored, I believe, 3 runs, or is it
Yes,
3 runs?
that is right.
So he's a lefty here. We need the little insurance would help right now. Izzy's in scoring position out at second. Caden Black stands in. All-state performer a year ago. Takes the ball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. So we were questioning our boy Vashon if whether he was going to get that play that Tyler Pickens made. You pulled it up on your phone. Did Vashon get that shot?
He did, and I'm gonna have to give him his kudos because I mean from his unfortunate appearance at the district tournament, that ball's outside for ball 2.
Oh, that's mean. That's mean, Ben.
From his unfortunate appearance at the district tournament games back against Central.
Oh boy, that's harsh.
Didn't give me a lot of hope, but I had to second guess him.
Here's the runner going. Here's a throw down. They might have him. They do. Yeah, I thought he got a pretty good lead, but Yeah, really nice throw by the catcher and guns out Izzy. You know, in that situation, you like to be aggressive. In that situation, when you got Caden batting, you might feel that he's just in good a position at second as he is at third. But you know, that's the way we play, and that's
Yeah.
our mo. So you can't change it. And I like that aggressive style, but you know,
Yeah, that is
hindsight's always 20/22.
correct, and that's what I've been mentioning in the past couple games is that's Coach Free's mantra is playing aggressive, base running, hitting, and stealing. That's Coach Free's mantra always.
2-1 pitch. I believe it's a ball. 3 balls and 1 strike the count. Jacob Franklin's on deck. Jacob has had just a tremendous game. As that pitch is hit on the ground softly, third base side. He's going to have to throw it quick, and he does in time for out number 3. So we go to the top half of the 7th inning. The Wildcats need 3 outs, and they'll come home with a victory. We go to the 7th inning. Oak Ridge leads Coalfield by a score of 6-4. And we'll be back to Bobby Hopkins Field. Remember, stay tuned after the ball game. We'll have an interview with Coach Travis Free, and he typically brings some players up for me to talk to. We usually talk to him down there on the home ball games because it's kind of cramped quarters in here. We'll figure that out. Hopefully we'll come away with a win here. The Wildcats, John Olker, will try to close things out here in the 7th inning. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. We go to the top half of the 7th inning. The Wildcats 3 outs away from a win over Coalfield here, but they're going to have to go through the meat of their lineup here, Ben George.
Correct. As Luke Treese comes up here, it's anybody's ball game right here as they have really good hitters here on this side of the lineup.
2, 3, and 4 to face John. And let's see, his first pitch is a called strike. Good start for John Ulrich, the junior, working his second inning of relief of Alex Franklin and Mikey Teasley, who started the ball game. Mikey in line for the win. John trying to get a save here. 1 strike the count to Luke Treese. Here comes the pitch. Hit foul down the third base side. And way ahead in the count now. No balls and 2 strikes. You know, John did camera work for me last year in baseball season up here, and now he's trying to save a game for the Wildcats here.
Yeah, he's doing a great job so far. Only allowing maybe a run so far, but doing a great job so far for this team.
He hadn't allowed anything, actually.
Yeah, that was Alex on that last run for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets.
Treese back in, and the 0-2 pitch. Here it comes. Called. Oh my! Whoa! That was strike 3 all day, every day. But the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Not a great call there by the umpire, but
We'll check the video later.
yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count. 6-4 the score. Nobody aboard, nobody out. The pitch outside a ball. That is a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. 6-4 Wildcats here. Welch with a sign. John with his 2-2 pitch upcoming. Breaking pitch called, strike 3, and that might be the makeup there, Ben. And the count was 2-2, and he got a breaking pitch, and he's actually called that breaking pitch on the inside corner all night. So it's been pretty consistent, actually, and that's out number 1.
Correct.
Braden Burgess is the batter now. What has Braden done in the ballgame?
So far, David, Braden Burgess has sat down on 3 consecutive strikeouts on his 3 appearances.
So now he is going for the golden sombrero, correct?
This is true.
Pitch is a ball. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. Defensively, it looks like we've got everybody still in place. The outfield remains the same. No changes after the previous inning. We only had the switches at first and third. 1 ball, no strikes. Third pitcher used, John Ulrich. Trying to get the save here for the Wildcats. He's got 1 out. Pitch hit well in the center field, and that's a base hit. Good job of hitting. And they've got their runner aboard here with 1 out, and the tying run comes to the plate.
Coming to the plate, number 7, Levi Brazil.
And this is Levi Brazil. He was the starting pitcher. He's the pitcher of record for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. Number 4 hitter. By the look of him, he's probably got some power to him.
Yeah, he's a pretty large-statured young man out there.
And he stands in. It'll be righty versus lefty here. 1 out. Wildcats trying to close it out here in the 7th inning with no drama. That pitch is outside the ball. 1 ball, no strikes, the count.
The main goal by this Oak Ridge defense is just to roll it and try and get the double play to end this game.
John Ulrich checks the runner at first. Short lead. And the 1-0 pitch. A little bit low. The count is 2 balls and no strikes. The Wildcats have used Mikey Teasley to start the game. He was replaced by Alex Franklin, who pitched 1 inning, and John trying to close it out in his 2nd inning of work here. 2 balls, no strikes. Needs a strike right here. Pitch. Called a strike on the outside corner of the plate at the knees, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. John closed it out for the Wildcats the other night at Anderson County. Trying to do the same here at Bobby Hopkins. 2-1 pitch. Cut on a miss on a high fastball, and the count is even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Righty versus lefty here. Are you happy your mic's working today, Ben?
Yeah, it's a lot better than having to go over to your mic every single time, David.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Runner at first, 1 out. 7th inning, throw over to first, and it gets past the first baseman, and they'll have a runner in scoring position here. That'll be a throwing error on the pitcher. And in a moment, we'll have a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Yeah, just an unfortunate pickoff attempt right there by John, and just wasn't able to grab it by Tyler Pickens out there at first.
Now, John has a good move there, but I don't think that guy was going anywhere, so just worry about the hitter now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch. That's high, a ball, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Little drama here in the 7th inning.
Yeah,
Ben.
David, and going back to that pickoff attempt, a great thought right there by John. It just wasn't there.
I believe Armstrong's on deck for them. 3 balls, 2 strikes. John Ulrich checks the runner, the 3-2 pitch. That's ball 4. So they've got runners at first and second and 1 out. And let's see, Coach Free kind of telling his defensive unit out on the field what he wants them to do. And Zach Armstrong will step in here. 1 out. Umpires getting word from the head coach of the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. They're going to have a little switch. Somebody's switched out here, I believe. Maybe not. I don't see any changes. unless they've got a courtesy runner there at first. They do have a pinch runner, so they have a runner at first. A little bit more speed, I guess. Armstrong will stand in. He's another lefty, tall, slender lefty. Zach will face John Ulrich for the first time today. What has Zach done in this one?
So far on all three of his plate appearances, as this one's going back and foul. So far on his 3 plate appearances, Zach Armstrong has gone 0 for 3.
Like I said earlier, if you are watching us on YouTube and you're a baseball person, we mainly do basketball and football games. We don't always do baseball games, but if you subscribe to our channel, you'll be alerted every time we do a baseball game. So just click the subscribe button as that pitches a ball. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Ben, you get nervous. You're standing up now.
Yeah, it just seems to be a little bit of a nail biter kind of here in Bobby Hopkins, as there's 2 runners on, and John's just trying to get this finish.
1 ball, 1 strike the count. Could lead at second, short lead at first. Tying runners on base here. Go ahead run at the plate. 6-4, the Wildcats in the lead here in the 7th. Just 2 outs away from a win here. Coalfield's good baseball team. Playing the Wildcats tough here tonight, as expected, as they always do against Oak Ridge. Pitch is inside.
Come on, John.
And the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. Getting some encouragement from the Oak Ridge dugout. So we look down to our left. Coalfield dugout trying to encourage their batters. 2-1 pitch about to be made. Here it comes. Cut on a miss. That's a strike, and it's even to count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Almost rung him up there, Ben. I was anticipating it. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. 2 on, 1 out. 2-run lead for the Wildcats. John trying to.
Here it is right here, David.
Let's see what he can do with Zach. 2-2 pitch. Hit foul. Back to the screen. Yep. And the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, the first 2 games, the game on Monday was close. The game we saw Tuesday was a blowout, a laugher. This is a little bit more fun game to watch here, much more intense.
A lot more intense and a lot more runs scored on both sides.
2 balls, 2 strikes. John Ulrich. 2-2 pitch once again. Onside corner, that is called strike 3, and that is the 2nd out of the inning. Nice pitch on the inside half of the plate. Really, really nice pitch by John.
Number 10, Jackson Treese.
Treese, the last hope for the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. 2 outs, 2 on here. Trying to nail it down here and try to get the Wildcats' 3rd win of the 2023 season. Their 2nd home win. Not out of the woods yet. Number 6 hitter in their lineup, and the first pitch to him might have overthrown that one just a bit. It's a ball, 1 ball, no strikes the count. Is this the 8th grader batting once again?
Yes, David, that is the 8th grader now batting up for Coalfield.
1-0 pitch, hit in the air, right side. This should be out number 3. Calling for it and making the catch, and that's your ball game. The Wildcats have won by a final score of 6-4. A great job at the end by John Ulrich to close it out for the Wildcats. Mikey Teasley gets the win. John Ulrich with the save. First career save for him, and obviously a huge, huge ball game for Jacob Franklin. 4 RBIs in the game for the 6, and the Wildcats win it 6-4. Nice win for the Wildcats.
Yeah, great win for the Wildcats, David, as they start off this season 3-0. A great finish and a great start. Jacob Franklin going 3 for 3 this night with 2 doubles and a 2-run home run, and a great finish for this Wildcats team as they get a great win over Coalfield.
Hey, Ben, if you don't mind, I'm going to drop that mic down there to see if we have enough mic down there. So I'm going to take a break real quick. We'll let you come back and recap the let's send Vashon down there. 6-4 the final score. We'll be back with Coach Free and an interview in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. The Wildcats victorious by a final score of 6-4. Jacob Franklin with 4 RBIs, 2 doubles, and a home run. The home run was the difference in the ball game, and the Wildcats win it by a score of 6-4, and they are now 3-0 on the year. We'll play Campbell County on Thursday. We're waiting to speak to Coach Free or whoever he elects to send over here to do the interviews. And Vashon, what they're going to do, they're going to do their interview from down there. So you'll put the camera down on there, on them, and we'll do that in a moment as they and as a little longer conversation here. Good win for the Wildcats. Vashon, I can talk to you. Yeah. Good win for the Wildcats. Your first baseball game for the Wildcats, and a very intense ending to the ball game, but a nice win.
Yeah, I think it was a nice win. It was a cool experience to be here. It's actually my first baseball game I've ever been to. So, and our team is really good, so it's nice to see that.
Some of those guys are your teammates on the football field. Tyler Pickens made a great play there, and you got a good shot of that on that first base. You got Izzy out there. And how in the world did you talk Caden Black into playing football?
I mean, he was already considering it, but I just talked to him about it, and I mean, I think we're just on the same page about it. But most of his teammates on the baseball team just don't want him to play because they don't want to risk getting him hurt for next season. But I think that he'll be fine, so that should be good.
Yeah, his we all know his bread and butter is baseball. I mean, he's not going to play professional or college football. He is going to play at the next level, maybe even the next level after that in baseball, because he's a great fielder. He's got speed. Can you beat him in a race?
No, not at all.
Well, Jacob Franklin had a big night tonight. We mentioned that, and it's funny because I said this earlier in the broadcast. If you just tuned in, Coach Free told me on the TV show last night that Jacob was going to have 2 doubles. He did that. He had 2 doubles, and he also had a 2-run home run. So he had 3 hits in the ball game. Big night for Jacob Franklin.
I mean, Coach Free just seems like as much of a predictor as me. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, it was a big night for him, and hope he keeps doing it throughout the season.
Longer conversation here. Hopefully get a chance to talk to whoever he sends to the microphone here, and we'll get that in a second. We'll get Ben up here to kind of recap the scoring. I can tell you, I know I can do it from memory here. My eyes are not good enough anymore because it's dark in here. Press box, the book. The Wildcats got a leadoff walk to Caden Black. Caden then stole second, scored on the double by Jacob Franklin, and that was the first run of the ball game. The Wildcats scored the second on a ground out, I think, by Tyler Pickens, which allowed Jacob Franklin, who stole third, to come in, and the Wildcats led it 2-0. The Wildcats gave up an unearned run in the first inning, an error out in the outfield, a 2-base error after a single. The runner got all the way to third. He came home on a ground out, and it was at that point a 2-1 lead for the Wildcats. We go to the third inning. The Wildcats put 2 more on the board, and they kind of did it basically the same way that they did it in the first inning. With the Wildcats, let's see, looking at this, looks like Mikey Teasley got on base here. He did not score. I'm trying to look at Ben's book. It's just hard for me he doesn't do the book like I do, so I'm going to let him finish it out here. But I do know that Jacob Franklin had a 2-run home run and had a double and scored Caden again on another one, and that really very unprofessional for me not to remember because I don't understand the way he's done the book here. All I know is Coach Free's having a very long conversation out there in the outfield, and we'll get him here in a moment, and we'll get Ben up here to decipher his shorthand. I do know the most important thing, if you're an Oak Ridge fan, 6-4 the Wildcats win. If you're a Coalfield fan, thank you for watching it. This is definitely an Oak Ridge broadcast for sure. As you found out, we broadcast most of the all the Oak Ridge basketball games and all the Oak Ridge football games. And occasionally we do a baseball game. We did the Coalfield game from there a year ago. And we appreciate you all watching our broadcast. 6-4 our score. In a moment, we'll have some interviews. We'll have Ben up here. I'm going to take a break here and let it kind of sit for a second here. 6-4 the Wildcats win. We'll be back in a moment.
Ben George back here at Bobby Hopkins Field. Great hitting night for the Oak Ridge Wildcats. Starting off, leading off for Caden Black. A walk for his first appearance, a second walk, his second, a double on his third, and then a ground out for his final. Jacob Franklin with 2 straight doubles, 2 straight stolen bases on RBIs with those scores on Caden Black. And then in his third appearance, he got a 2-run home run with himself and Caden Black. Eddie Tan struck out his first time around, and then a sacrifice fly on his second, and then a pop fly out on his third. Tyler Pickens, the third and first baseman, with an RBI ground out on his first appearance, a single on his second, and then another single, a stolen base, and an advancement on his third appearance. Richie Ferreira, a ground out on his first appearance. Second appearance, a fly out long in the center field, and then a pop fly out in the foul territory for his third appearance. Mikey Teasley, the starting pitcher tonight, going ground for his first appearance, a single on his second, and then a ground out to third on his third appearance. Truett Tex hitting for Camden Welch at the 8th spot, hitting a ground out to the pitcher on his first appearance, a ground out to third on his second, and then a ground out to second on his third appearance. Kyron Welch, the catcher and the 8th hitter, going on a double on his first appearance, a fly out to second on his second appearance, and then reaching first base by a catching interference on his third. And then at the 9th and final hitter, Jason Slay, striking out on 2 of his first appearances, and then a sacrifice bunt on his third. Advancing on that second one was Kyron Welch. Those are the stats for your Oak Ridge Wildcats. We'll take a break and be back with Coach Free and a couple of the Oak Ridge Wildcats baseball players here in just a moment.
David Clary back here along with Ben George, Vashawn Knowles, waiting to speak to the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Travis Free, and perhaps some players here once again. We'll hope you'll stay tuned for that. I know basketball is on right now. The Wildcats winning today 6-4 over the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. Wildcats victorious here. And looks like we might have John Ulrich coming over here, perhaps even Jacob Franklin once again. So we'll wait to get them in position here as we get set here. They haven't actually made their way yet, but we will talk to them down below here. Actually, yeah. Jacob, let me turn the camera here just a bit. Walk back as far as you can there, and we'll come back with Jacob Franklin. Actually, it's going to be John Ulrich who joins us here. John with his first career save. And is it kind of awkward to look up at me here in the press box? Nobody ever looks up to me because I'm usually the shortest person. First off, congratulations on your first career save. A little bit nerve-wracking there in the seventh inning. Talk about your performance here tonight.
I got a red dot. All right, I can see the red dot.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so wait, can you ask me the question?
You're good. Go back ahead. John's going to describe his outing today, even though it was nerve-wracking there at the end.
I mean, when you get your first one like that, it's always a little bit nerve-wracking. But you know, you get used to it after a little bit. I'm very excited about that. But I knew even when things were going wrong, I knew what I was doing wrong. I was dropping my front shoulder a little bit mechanically. And then everybody said I was missing at the belt, and the umpire wasn't giving me calls. I mean, he had a good zone. He was consistent with it too. So, I mean, as long.
He was very consistent on that breaking pitch on the inside corner. He was calling that all night long, and you got a good call on one of those.
I did. I mean, really, I don't care where your zone is as an umpire, really, as long as you're consistent, because I can hone in my spots. I'm starting to get there mechanically and being able to hit my spots. But it's just you get used to it after a little bit.
Is this going to be your role? Are you going to be the closer? Is that going to be your role? This is 2 straight games you've closed out a game.
I have no clue, man. It's whatever happens. You know, I'm here for the team. I'm here for the guys. I love coming out here. It's the best thing in the world, man. I love coming out here to play. I will do whatever Coach Free asks me of.
So you're now 3-0, and that's a really good baseball team you beat tonight. I mean, they state tournament team from a year ago.
They were?
Yeah, most definitely. So it's a state tournament team, so you got to feel pretty good about it.
I mean, hey, they got a good team. I got good pitches. I got good outs. My defense, Tyler Pickens and Mikey Teasley made some great plays. Jacob Franklin making the catch to end it. Also hitting some dingers today. Yeah, buddy.
So, John, I appreciate you coming by here. Let me get Jacob in here. Congratulations,
no problem,
and we'll see you up in Campbell County.
See you, man.
Here comes Jacob Franklin. You know, the funny thing, Jacob, is last night on the TV show, Coach Free said you were going to have 2 doubles. That's what he predicted.
Yep.
Your first 2 at-bats, 2 doubles. And then you hit a home run, a 2-run home run, which was really the difference in the ballgame. Is he clairvoyant? I mean, or was it just something you were doing well in the cage this last couple days?
Like I said, I think on the show last night, I was struggling a little bit at the plate and not kind of up to my standards. And then yesterday, me, Free, and a couple of the guys, we went into the batting cage and we worked for about 2 hours on trying to make sure we got the little tweaks in. And then I kind of went into the game today and I was like, I'm going to hit 2 doubles. And then what happened on the field happened.
You know, I predicted, I talked about Coach Free's prediction on your first one. I said, well, there's one. So he's got one out of the way. And then you got your second one, and you knocked in runs each time. I think Caden came in each time. You stole third twice. So you've had a very productive game. And then you came out, I guess it was the 5th inning. I guess, where you came up, 2 outs, had the runner at third. Talk about that at bat, the one that sailed over the fence. Talk about that.
Yeah, I went into the at bat. I was like, I want to hit another double. I mean, I knew as soon as I went up, they took the other pitcher out. As soon as I got to the plate, I was thinking, okay, this new pitcher, time him up. I spent the entire time timing him up while he was warming up. So I was thinking, I'm ready, I'm ready. He threw me an inside pitch to start for a strike. And then I was like, throw me that again and see what happens. He threw it again, and I hit it over the fence.
Remind me, Jacob, have you hit a home run in a varsity ball game?
I've hit one before, and it was last year at Stone Memorial.
I actually remember that, actually. So it had to feel pretty good. It had to feel pretty good that, as I was telling John, this is a really good Coalfield team you played. I mean, they played you pretty tough last year, if you remember. So you had to feel good. When you hit it, did you know it was going out, though?
I mean, as soon as I hit it, I was like, should I bat flip? Should I not? Should I make sure it goes over the fence? Because it's my first successful game to go 3 for 3 that I knew was hit far. I just wasn't sure if it was going to go out. So I was like, I better run to make sure Coach Free don't yell at me.
Well, Coach Free's not feeling real well, so I'm going to ask you some other baseball questions here, not about yourself. He's not able to do our interview here. His whole family's been sick, so we don't want him.
Yeah, he's been struggling all night with trying to make sure he wasn't going to throw up on the field, so that's completely understandable.
Well, let's talk about, and you're a pitcher, let's talk about Mikey's performance. His first varsity start here, gets the win. Talk about the way he pitched tonight.
He pitched well. He did exactly what we were expecting when he came in. He had a couple pitches or a couple at bats against him that he was kind of struggling a little bit, but we knew he could get it done and he could do what he could.
He's doing fine. If you don't,
I mean, you can
yeah,
do it.
I'm good. Well, no, we'll be good. Thank you, though. Appreciate that, Coach Maddox, I believe.
That's Coach Dove.
Coach, I couldn't. Yeah, thank you. Let's talk about John's performance. He came. Well, Alex, your brother, came in, pitched an inning, and then John came in and closed out the last 2. Got in a little bit of trouble there in the 7th inning, but kind of worked his way out of it.
Yeah. John did exactly what we thought he could do. I mean, he came into, I think it was Tuesday's game that he came in and he closed that game out for us as well. He threw 28 pitches, and I mean, he pitched exactly what we thought he would. He would go in, he would get the 2 innings done. We knew he could get the job done.
Is it easier to steal third, or is it easier to steal second?
It's easier to steal third with the coaching that we got. I mean, at second we can get a little bit more of a jump. At first, we kind of have to wait for that front heel to move.
Well, thinking back to the other part of the game, a really, really nice play. I'm not sure if it was fair or foul, but a really nice play by Tyler Pickens at first base, which ended an inning.
Yep. Yeah, Tyler, I mean, he used his length to his advantage there. That's why he's over there playing first. He said before that play he was visualizing doing the exact same thing that he did. So, I mean, if you picture it, it's going to happen.
Caden Black did his typical thing. I mean, he walked first. He got hit by a pitch. Then he got a triple. The guy just knows how to get on base.
Yeah, that's why he's in the leadoff spot, and I'm behind him because we always know if he gets on where he's always going to come in and score.
Well, that's what I always figure. If he gets on base, he's going to be at second in a couple pitches. Let's get him over here real quick. Jacob.
Hey, come here. No, come here.
Caden,
come here. Come on. I'm eating. No,
he's eating. His excuse is he's eating. That's Caden Black. He didn't want to talk. Well, I know your coaching said we almost had a coach talk to us, but you've done fine, Jacob. Any final words about this win and looking forward, I guess, to Campbell County next week?
Yeah, we had a little hiccup in the, I believe it was the 5th or 6th inning where they got 3 runs on us, but we all battled back and we did exactly what we knew we could do. And going into Campbell County, we're just looking to shut out that series and easily get the 2 wins that we know we can get.
Jacob, I appreciate your time today and good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's Jacob Franklin. He knocked in 4 runs today, at least 4 runs today, and had 3 extra base hits. That about does it here from Bobby Hopkins Field. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge victorious by a final score of 6-4 over the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. Ben is stuffing his face with a pizza, so I'm going to close it out. We appreciate Ben, George, and Vashon Knowles. Ben, any final comments?
Another great performance by the Oak Ridge pitching staff. Great hitting game for these Oak Ridge Wildcats. A couple things to pick up on defensively and fielding-wise, obviously. But another great game for these Wildcats, and can't wait to go on the road and watch them play against Campbell County on Monday.
6-4 the final score here. That does it here from Bobby Hopkins Field for Vashon and Ben. This is David Clary. Until next time, saying so long, everybody.